What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It is time for a brand new video talking today about everyone's favorite subject, Illan Meslier, and the reported news that we could have replaced this goalkeeper in January. We're going to get into it, people. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, drop your thoughts and comments below. Big thank you to Stephen Short, Parrot House, and Dave Webster for super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated, guys. And big up to all members of the channel for that kind of support. It really does go a long way. So let's get into this. Beren Cross, who is our athletic reporter for Leeds United, did talk about this in an article that he wrote recently. I think it was yesterday now. He was talking about this in general. Run-ins always generate heroes and villains. The die looks cast on Meslier. Farke's next move could decide his role. And I'm going to question as well if it should just be up to Farke, but I'm going to get into that in just a moment, so stay tuned. According to Beren Cross, his report states that conversations between the manager Daniel Farke and the chairman Paraag Marathe in the winter transfer window regarding Meslier, with the question being asked of whether the goalkeeper would be the difference between going up and staying down. So what the report is saying is that our chairman had offered Daniel Farke a replacement for Illan Meslier, and Daniel Farke has said no, which for me could be a sackable offense within itself, or should be, I should say. But what this also means, people, is that when Daniel Farke has backed Illan Meslier publicly, he also means it privately. We've seen many instances where a manager will back a player publicly and then they've sold him like that summer or that winter transfer window because it was the right thing to do for both parties. This way, though, Daniel Farke actually means what he says in regards to Meslier, and that it would be crazy to change the goalkeeper when you're top of the league or after just a couple of mistakes. He actually meant all of that because Paraag has come to Daniel Farke with a solution, reportedly, by the way. And listen, if it's not true, Daniel Farke can debunk the story because he does that. He listens and he hears all things said about him. If you watch the press conferences, you'll know that he always talks about things that people have said or comments that he's read in articles. He will address it. So if it's not true, he can come out and say it's not true. But if it is true and he did not take the chance to replace Illan Meslier, that is a sackable offense within itself. The other thing is as well, let's just say that Paraag did offer him a new solution for a goalkeeper and he said no. If it was a case where he says, you know what, no, I believe in Meslier, but if you get me a better number two, then maybe when Meslier is under the fire, in the firing line, I can replace him with a number two that I trust, then you've got that too. But he has also said that he trusts Karl Darlow as well. So basically, in what I'm saying here is that Daniel Farke sees no issues with the goalkeeper, none, which is absolutely insane to me. It's insane. Let me just say this as well. An account was talking about Illan Meslier's goals. They put up the footage together of all 27 goals we conceded up to this point. I've made this video. And they put down around 12 goals that accounts to Meslier. They've missed out one though that I think is glaringly obvious, which is the Norwich penalty. I've said it in the match reaction for the Norwich game, and I'll say it again here. He jumped over the ball that went straight down the middle. He could have saved it. All he had to do was just stand still, but instead he jumped over it. There's probably a couple of others, but the point being is that a large majority have been because this goalkeeper has not done the basics, gone through his hands, through not just the near post as well, getting something on it and it goes to the near post, getting his angles all wrong like he did against Swansea on the weekend, where that ball has no business finding the back of the net. No business, but it does. Not catching things, batting the ball into his own goal. There's countless others. We've been through the catalogue already. But the fact that he doesn't see an issue with this is a very, very alarming for me. You've even got Jeff Stelling today on TalkSport saying that he needs to be dropped. Yeah, only 6 months ago, Jeff Stelling was talking about no one consoled him. No one put an arm around Illan after his mistake against Sunderland because he didn't deserve it. The only arm that he had around him was Reggie Lebris, his former manager at Sunderland, from Lorient at Sunderland, I should say, just so for a clarification. That's the only arm he had around him because everyone else was PO'd. We played the perfect away game, and because of his error, and now Jeff Stelling's running it back saying, oh, no, you know, I'll take it back. Maybe you should be dropped now. But we've seen these clangers all season long, all season. When the team doesn't suppress the shots, we're in trouble, as we've seen in the latest game in the form that we're in. One person that we do have on the books, I mentioned him already, is Karl Darlow, and it's just stunning that we're not using him. It's stunning that we didn't use him before. But the fact is, we can get more assured goalkeeper from Karl Darlow. It's not going to be the best, but it doesn't have to be. It just has to be average, which Meslier is not. So Karl Darlow, who plays internationally with Dan James, and more importantly, in a defensive kind of role, Ethan Ampadu and especially Joe Rodon. Can you imagine like the conversations that these guys must have when they're away? Like, I can't believe you're not the number one. I can't believe you're not being given an opportunity. Have you seen that what Mellier's done? You know, imagine those private conversations that these guys must have. You, no one can convince me. Leeds United official account could come out tomorrow with a video of Joe Rodon and Elan Melly going to coffee together. I don't believe that. You can't PR me to death. I see in Joe Rodon's eyes what he thinks of Elan Meslier as a goalkeeper. May love him as a mate behind the scenes, but on the pitch, these players don't trust him. Not one bit. So Daniel Farke has got decisions to make. But one other thing with Daniel Farke is that he has said this before in press conferences. So going with his words again, he will never bow to fan or media pressure. He won't. He says unless it is his principles, it's his decisions, and it has to be. Otherwise, what's the point of him being a manager? And you know what? On one hand, I understand that 100%. I do. If you can't back your own convictions, if you can't back your own decisions, what's the point of you being here? But we're at a point, and we've been at a point with Elan Meslier where this is too much. But the thing that will stop him from making the change is he doesn't want to be wrong. He doesn't want to be proven wrong. Everyone else, when they think something pessimistic, they want to be proven wrong because they want to hope for the right outcome. He doesn't want to be proven wrong as to say that Meslier is a problem and you should have replaced him because then it looks bad on him. That's all he cares about. That is all this man cares about. It's all about himself, not about the football club. He's not thinking about the club. He's thinking about his own thing. Just like how he was wrong with a few players that have been let go. I'm not going to mention names. It's on him. And if he's proven wrong, he won't like it. He will not like it one bit. So that's why I think for this game against Luton, we'll preview it later in the week, people, especially when I'm back from my mom's. I think we're going to see Meslier in goal again. I think we're going to see it. But what I do hope is that the journals drill down on it. Don't let it go. Just because you asked him after the game against Swansea, you should get a follow-up a few days later after a couple of days off for the players and then a couple of days of training. Get into those questions in the press conferences and get some answers. One of the other things as well, in terms of this promotion race, is the quote, the 100% thing. And a couple of you mentioned it in the comments, but I want to just say it here. The 100% will get promoted comment what he said because he's severely under pressure. He's lost his head. People are talking about Sheffield United and Burnley having that on their boards, and that is promotion material. Not like they need it. They're getting along just fine. All right. Can you believe looking at this table, we was 1.5 points ahead of Sheffield United, maybe 7 ahead of Burnley with a healthy goal difference. And now look, it's very, very demotivating to see. But the point I want to make in regards to that quote is, yeah, Sheffield United and Burnley can use it as material, but I tell you who else is going to be using it as material. Every other team we're going to be playing. And I don't know how people haven't seen this. This is going to be material where teams who have got nothing to play for will be saying, oh, these guys think they're just going to use us as a vehicle to go up. Stop them. And I tell you what, when we see these boys next season, not only going to have a different manager in the dugout, guess what? Ampadu, Nonto, Ramazani, Solomon, none of these guys are going to be here next season. So we're going to see this club here, back here again, the big I ams. They're going to be here much different, and they won't be favorites next year for the championship. Let's go and show them that they're going to be here with us next season. It's bulletin material for every single team that is going to play us for the remainder of the season. Middlesbrough are going to love that. Luton this weekend, they're going to love that. They've just come from the Premier League, and these guys are thinking that they're the big I ams. It's bulletin material for everyone. He just put a large target on our backs for absolutely no reason at all. He was doing fine when he said the aim is promotion. That should be the aim for everybody. But to say we're 100% going up in the form that we're in, it's diabolical work. I'm not going to lie. He just put extra pressure on himself for no reason at all, and the club. But listen, Paraag, I mentioned this at the start, but what I want to say about Paraag is that he meddled in business before when he was a background owner before they took over the 49ers. He's got to be brave on that and say, you know what, I got that one wrong. And I'm talking about him getting his nose involved and not selling Jack Harrison for 25 million to Leicester. They should never have got involved in that. It was the right thing to do. And maybe Paraag sees that now. But what he's going to be is he's got to back himself on this one. He's already had a word with Daniel, reportedly. You've got to then go to Daniel Farke. And even if it puts Farke's nose out of joint, say, I want Meslier out the team. You've got to, Daniel. You've got no choice. Now, I don't care. Daniel Farke in 2 years will tell his story and say, Leeds United meddled in my business. I was doing great. I had 81 points and this and that. Scored 78 goals, only conceded 27, and they felt the need to meddle. I don't care what your sub story is. Paraag, if you feel that you got to pull rank and say you're starting Darlow. If Farke has to quit on the spot, then we'll deal with it. And I'm going to be speaking about, because a lot of you have been talking about sacking Farke, which I know seems insane at this stage of the season. I'm going to speak about that in a separate video, so stay tuned. But Paraag has got to do it. He got it wrong with the Harrison thing, but in just a small defense of him, I can kind of understand it being where they were at the time, just being in the background. Leicester are a relegation rival. Why would you sell to them? But I was saying at the time, you're not weakening us. You're probably weakening Leicester by selling Jack Harrison to them, and we'd have got 25 million. Instead, we offer him a new contract, and now look, you know what I mean? We're gonna have to try and shift him in the summer, probably to the MLS for cheap than what we could have got before. But Paraag has got to not doubt himself in this one and go, you know what? I've seen this with my own eyes. The analytics, my data team are telling me, Daniel, you've got a decision to make, and make it, or this is, you know, or else, basically, or else. But will Paraag do that? We will see, won't we? We will see this weekend against Luton Town when he puts out the team sheet. But people, that is the video for this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. I mean, you probably haven't, but you know, give me your thoughts and feelings below. Do like the video before you go, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.